I asked her, I said, baby, did somebody touch you? And she ended up saying it was Daddy. I felt like my world ended on that day. And I just instantly started trying to think of how I could get my kids out of the house. It's because I knew if I confronted him or asked him about it, that he would just lie. And that he would probably just continue to keep doing stuff to her, but just become more covert or more sneaky or whatever. As soon as he got home, I told him that I was gonna go Halloween shopping with my sister because I just needed an excuse to get out of the house with all the kids. And so where they were able to evaluate my daughters. It ended up coming out that he had actually been touching both of my daughters, only 2 and 4 years old. I just don't know how he was able to get away with it and so sneaky. Because of my own trauma, I watch my kids like a hawk. Like, I don't like them sitting on people's laps. None of that. And he knows how much I cannot stand men like him. And to think like I couldn't even go to sleep in my own house and know that my children are safe. Just by me going to sleep, my children were left unprotected.
Hi guys, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Benita. If you're new here, welcome. If you're a returning subscriber, all the love in the world. So I saw a video of Isis, the trophy wife, on YouTube, and I watched it. It's a very tragic story. And then I also saw some videos on TikTok about people talking about what happened. To recap, Isis is a trophy wife, meaning she got married to a provider man, a rich man that's got married to her because of how she looks and how she is, just to take care of her, give her everything that she wants while she lives her best life. And she's a social media person, TikToker, YouTuber, and she also advises women on how to meet provider men, how to be the feminine woman that will attract a provider man. Basically, she's a feminine coach, so she coaches women on this and that. And she got married to a provider man, a very rich guy that takes care of all her needs, and she's living her best life. Okay, now the backstory is, I think she was essayed when she was little, and because of that she vowed that when she grows up or whatever, when she gives birth, she would take care of her children, pay close attention to her children. And she did exactly that. She met this man some months ago, got married to him within a week, and she's been his trophy wife, doing her thing. The guy also has been doing his thing, and they have 2 children. They have 2 children. Ever since she gave birth to those children, she has taken care of them properly. She doesn't allow outsiders come close to them because of what she experienced when she was younger. She doesn't allow them sit on men's laps, those things that can enable essaying. She does not allow it, and she has been very careful to avoid what happened to her children. I think recently she was trying to change her baby's diapers or something like that, and she checked and saw that her baby's private area was not looking normal, and then she decided to ask her child, has anyone touched you or something like that. Her child responded and mentioned her dad's name. She was shocked, so she rushed the children to the hospital. Long story short, she realized that her husband, her provider husband, has been touching her children, has been assaulting them in the S way. I really don't want to say it because of YouTube. People on TikTok have been saying a lot of things, bashing people that listen to her, people that listen to Shira 7, saying things like, oh, you've been talking about provider men, talking about the wrong things, marrying men for the wrong reasons. Meanwhile, you didn't even know that a man in your house has been doing things to your children. So I'd just like us to listen to some of these videos, and I'll be back to say 1 or 2 things. You can also drop your comments in the comment section. What do you think about this situation? What do you think about what happened and what has been going on? Have you seen the video? Have you seen her video on YouTube? What do you think? So I'll play the videos now and then we'll be back.
So the content creator that goes by the name The Trophy Wife, I think her real name is Isis, she just came forward saying that the provider husband that she has been with, she has just found out that he has touched both of her daughters, who are 2 years old and 4 years old. She also explained that when they first got together, when her and her husband first got together, he R-worded her on 4 different occasions. Listen, I have nothing against the women who want to go and get provider men. That is your prerogative, okay? I get it. However, I think it's very, very important to just go on ahead and just identify the fact that when there are content creators that like make this type of content where they're talking about, you know, them being with a provider man, they're still with a man. Women that understand male nature understand that there is no type of man that is ever going to not have the tendency to do things that men do. I don't care if he's a doctor, a lawyer, a philanthropist, a spiritual guru. He is capable of SA, he is capable of DV, he is capable of any type of abuse, whether it be mental, emotional, financial. And I'm really, really glad that she opened up and shared that this happened to her. Because even when I danced with several women who ended up marrying and being with provider men that they had met in their establishments or even just out and about, because we tend to know how to be in proximity and get those type of men. And they all were in the same exact predicament. The really sad thing is that the trophy wife is actually a product of being R-worded herself. So she made it very clear that she was very protective over her daughters. She refused to allow them to sit on anyone's lap. Just very, very strong on setting boundaries for them. That way, the thing that happened to her would not happen to them. And despite all of that, it happened to them by the person that she married. The provider talk is great, okay? The provider talk is good. It's fun. It feels good because it always feels good to like watch content where women are opening up about like how they're being provided for, how they're being cared for, how they're being taken care of. But we also have to understand that these same women are typically not telling you about the negatives that come along with them being with a man, because this is the thing. We have to quit making these distinctions amongst men. He's a lawyer. He's a doctor. He's a dusty. He's a man. Okay. The tiered system of men, the hierarchy of men, it doesn't change the fact that they're still men. So no matter how much money that he makes, no matter how nice he comes off, because the trophy wife also did say that. She said that he treated her amazing. And then once they got married, that was when he switched up. And from what I looked up, I did read in a couple places that they got married after a week, which is a huge red flag because most men don't want to get married. So when they're trying to like strap you down quickly, that is a red flag. There's plenty of men out there who aren't dust when it comes to finances, but they are dust when it comes to their morality, their character, their spirit. And that's how it is for most men, okay? Most men are dusties when it comes to all things internal because naturally that is who men are. So although I do encourage content on here for women to get a provider man, all women have to understand that you don't get to just deal with men for free, okay? You are paying something to a man, and it may not be tangible. In most cases, it's not tangible. If you get a provider man, if you deal with any man, but specifically we're talking about provider men here, you are going to have to pay in some way. You may have to pay, unfortunately, like the trophy wife, she had to pay with her children. There are some women who have to pay with their mental health, with their emotional health, with their physical health. Do not ever think that just because you have a provider man, it's going to give you a free ride at life and you just get to coast and you just get to kick your feet up and this man is just going to take care of you and you won't have to worry about anything. He is going to make it so that you feel like you don't have to worry about anything, because why would he try to signal off to you that there was something that you needed to worry about? So of course, he's going to make sure that he's covering his tracks along the way so that way you don't get suspicious. The trophy wife didn't even know that something had happened to her daughters until she was changing a diaper and she noticed that her daughter's private area was extremely red. And she literally had to follow the whole course with calling the police, getting the examination done. And mind you, her children are 2 years old and 4 years old. Those little girls are now traumatized for life. They're going to have a very, very hard time in the future cultivating healthy relationships because of the monster that lived under the same roof as them. And all because a woman had made a decision to deal with the man based off of his finances. It is not all men, but it's always a man.
Not me waking up this morning and seeing the new trophy wife in that tea hold on, like, let me just say and reiterate this for the people in the back, because it's a lot. Is this new generation? We young, we careless, and we don't really know. At the end of the day, if you marrying a money man, if you're marrying someone, if you are bringing a man into your children's life, please, please, please always be, and maybe it's because I'm a Scorpio, but always be on guard and always keep something in your mind that it can possibly or might happen, because people are surprising. Okay, people, you don't put things past people. Okay, especially young women with children. Okay, the kind of armor you need to have up for yourself and your children needs to be times 10. I don't know why I have to come on here and say that, but I really need this to reach people. Protect our babies, okay? A man isn't going to tell you, I'm attracted to little kids, okay? A lot of men are out here attracted to little kids and they don't speak on it, but they will act on it, okay? Let's start there. Don't trust nobody around your children.
When are women going to grasp and understand the fact that a lot of these feminine coaches that y'all are listening to and giving a platform to are just leading you astray and are leading you to very dangerous situations? I watched a video yesterday on YouTube by a woman by the name of the New Trophy Wife. And for those of you who know who she is, she's basically makes content centered around being a trophy wife and how, women need to level up their looks to get them a high value man, to get them a man to, pay for their lifestyle and fund them and provide and do all these things, right? Only to put out a video yesterday saying that her husband, her Prince Charming, Christian, do good, do right by God of a man, was essaying their 2 daughters, ages 2 and 4. Now, first of all, I want to extend compassion, and I also want to extend empathy to this woman, because I commend her for not only coming up on social media to be so vulnerable and tell her story about what's been going on, but also to get her and her children away from that. I think there's a lot that women can learn from this lifestyle that's being sold, and to just take the wool off of your eyes. Now, don't get me wrong. I respect Shira 7 in terms of her level up advice, right? Because when you make an effort to look good, when you make an effort to have hobbies and interests that are outside of a man, that's where you discover and learn about your true self, right? You're learning about things that you love to do. You are putting yourself in places where you're going to advance, right? My critique about Shira is that she's not telling you guys about how men think, right? There's a lot of rich men that are PDF files. There are lots of rich men that are psychopaths. There are lots of rich men that are serial. Why is that not being taught? And also, why is femininity content centered so much around looks, but not centered around the mind and the soul? Because as a woman, if you want to protect yourself, the thing that's going to protect you the most is how you use this. Thinking is a skill. Discernment is a skill. Whether critical thinking, analytical thinking, creative thinking, that is a skill that needs to be utilized. And what these feminine coaches are teaching you is not to use this and to just rest in your femininity. They're telling you that you should only feel feminine when you're around a man. That is so ass backwards. Women who are feminine, they hold the feminine source. They have the feminine portal embedded within them. And it is their responsibility to activate their feminine energy without it being centered around a man. You need to have sovereignty as a woman. Your sovereignty needs to be within yourself. And unfortunately, this trophy wife woman is not only giving credit to Shira 7, but she's also giving credit to Kevin Samuels, who at one point before he passed made a video saying, well, if your child tells you that they've been molested by somebody, to not believe them. It's time that women need to take the wool off their eyes and see the truth for what it is, and to stop being so gullible when it comes to this lifestyle, this femininity content. Because a lot of these feminine coaches are creating content and a lifestyle that is centered around a man. And the people that are buying this, that are believing this, are women. It should not take a man to make you feel feminine, ladies. It is your responsibility to make yourselves more feminine. Not to attract a man, but doing it for yourself. Because that's where the real power lies. Big part of activating that femininity involves you holding up a mirror to yourself and practicing self-preservation. And a big part of self-preservation, like I said, involves using this. It's not just resting in your feminine. Has nothing to do with that. If anything, that shit's promoting y'all to be lazy. And when shit goes left in your relationship with that provider rich man, what do you have to fall back on? Because it's not going to be your femininity. You need to develop skills and thinking. You need to have outlets where you can use those outlets as assets to propel you forward and to make a life of yourself. My father always instilled in me to always have my own resources, have my own money, have my own interests, my own hobbies, and develop the skill of thinking and to make sure that my mind is always sharp. Okay, because a lot of these women are getting God. Why? Because they're not using this. My heart goes out to that trophy wife, or ISIS I should call her, because she changed her YouTube name, which she should. I'm sending her love, I'm sending her prayers, and I just hope that women learn from this. Okay, these feminine coaches, they're leading y'all astray. And when shit goes left, they're not going to be there to help you out of your situation. Just letting you know that. That's going to be you.
This is going to be a very loaded video, y'all. Okay. I don't know if you're familiar with the new trophy wife. She came on the scene about 8 months ago, maybe a year ago, talking about the teachings of Shira 7 and how she was also inspired by Kevin Samuels. How she got to provide her husband, even though she was a single mom. She got married in a week and she's taken care of and she's living her feminine soft life. All that jazz. She spoke about, Shira 7 and her teachings being what changed her life. But now her life has changed for the worst. Her recent video was it was obviously awful, which is her finding out that her now husband was essaying her 2 little girls, one that's 2 years old, one that's 4. And that pain is unimaginable, especially when you've gone through that yourself and you know exactly how traumatizing that is. Being that, I think her name is Isis, her real name, the new trophy wife, she's been through that as well. So when you go through that and then your kids go through that, you just feel all the pain. Not just the pain that you felt when you were in your youth and experienced that, but also the pain of your children. And I want to say this. I come from a third world country. I grew up with a lot of women that went through the trenches. And we understand men way differently than the women here in America. Okay? And I understand why women watch Shira 7. Because they want to get the best out of the men that they're dealing with. They don't want to get played. But you have to be sophisticated enough to think further ahead that a man could turn around and leave you with nothing or abuse you, take advantage of you, even while he's providing and protecting, so to speak. Shira 7 could get up and leave her man, James, whenever she wants because she's acquired some wealth from the content she makes. And so you ladies need to think about that. Instead of, oh, well, yes, I could get a man that's going to take care of me. Okay, but then what? What happens when this man is abusing your children or abusing you? Financially taking advantage of you. What are you going to do then? This girl talking about, Shira 7 inspired her, all that stuff. Yes, but she didn't pick the pages up from also Princella the Queenmaker about 41 Shades of Men. When I go to DR, or when I lived in DR, even by the age of 6, I was being told about every type of man. Oh, this man may be rich, but he may beat you. This man says that he's this, but he's a liar. He's just saying that to get with you. This man, he wants to be with you to be in proximity to the children. This man pretends to be a family man, but the reason he's doing it is because he wants to look good for the other CEOs. This man has a bunch of diseases and he's just running around with women, getting them completely emotionally enmeshed so he could pass on these diseases and she wouldn't go ahead and tell on him. There's a list of things that they would tell us about men. And this is why I said in a previous video that if you're going to listen to Shira 7's teachings, you need to pair that up with 41 Shades of Men. So if you are going to deal with men, at least know exactly what to watch out for and not to let things slide because you're being provided for. And what this girl is going through is so egregious, so terrifying. It's stomach churning. It's making me shake a little bit. Like I'm literally shaking a little bit. Okay? Because I fear that a lot of women think it's all about aesthetics. It's all about beauty. It's all about hair and makeup and nails. It's more. You need to understand the pathology, the psychology behind why a man does what he does for you. You need to understand men on the most surface level. On the most surface level, down to the core. So you're not put in a position where you're blindsided, where you have these rosy colored glasses and you're not really seeing what's happening behind the fucking scenes to you or your children or to your life. Okay? One thing that Princella the Queenmaker and Shira 7 reinstate, at least in me, because I already know these kind of things, is that you never love them, you never cuff them, you never trust them. And if you get cuffed by them, make sure you have your own back, your children's back. Everything that you care about, that it is protected by you, because you are actually the protector. These guys won't protect you. And the ones that do, very far rare in between, that they really have your best interests at heart. This is so freaking sad. Please, if you're going to say anything under her comments, be kind to her. She's going through a very, very tumultuous, mentally horrifying time right now with her children. But yeah, that's what I wanted to say, because I feel like a lot of women are taking Shira Seven's advice and being like, oh, this is all I got to do, and then I'm going to get a provider. Yeah, but what kind of provider is he? Is he the one that's going to leave you worse than when he met you? Is that the kind of provider that you're going to get? You need to think long and hard and be very strategic and understand what kind of men you're getting with before you end up in this situation. Yeah, you have a Mercedes-Benz, but you're driving your child to the doctor trying to figure out why she can't be changed.
I feel like too many people get online and y'all try to take so much life advice from these bigger influencers and whoever, just anybody on the internet, and it's just like, you can't always listen to everything that somebody's saying on the internet versus real life. Like, in real life, you need to have discernment. In real life, do not be too trusting. In real life, follow your intuition, your gut. Like, too many women in today's society tries to just make it seem like, oh, get with the rich guy that can take care of you, everything's gonna be amazing and wonderful. Yeah, it's a few percentages that it is occasionally good, but then what about the other factors? Or what about when situations like this happen? Like sadly, this lady, well, Isis, sadly, she ignored a lot of red flags in the beginning. Like, you do not just immediately get married after barely knowing somebody. You don't quickly move in with somebody that you barely know. Like, you don't. And the last thing you do, I don't even have any kids, but do not trust nobody around your kids. Like, you might want to wait 2-3 years before you even let them meet the child. Like, because people are just sickos. Like, I watch so much true crime and stuff like that, so it's just like, I already am not very trusting towards people in general. So, but when people are like dating, especially online dating or any type of dating, like, you have to just always have your guard up. It's better to have your guard up with people than to just ignore everything just because it's just like, oh, but online they're saying get the rich guy, don't date this guy, date the geeky one. Like, you just never know with people, and it's just like, that situation is just disgusting and sad. And I hope that she does press charges for her kids, because it's just like, I just listened to the story, it was just like disgusting to me. And it's just like I be saying, I watch so many true crime videos about just situations and stuff like that happens to kids, and it's just like, it's sad. It's really, really sad. And that's why I'm just like, I just feel like people have to do, especially when you have kids and you're dating or want to date, just do not be trusting with anybody towards your kids. Like, and it's just sick that this man did this. I'm not sure if these were his biological kids, or, because I know she said they had the newborn, but I don't know if those two were his kids also. That's what makes it even more sick, because she didn't really confirm it or not, you know. So I was like, I don't know if those are his kids or not, because she said she had boys before him. But it's just like, don't be desperate for any man. And I just feel like women should just, you should just want to have your own anyway. Like, I wish people would stop trying to push this whole dating a rich guy thing as if in every situation it's always ending up good. Like, no, this doesn't happen to everybody, but it's just like, it can happen to people, and people don't realize it until it's too late. So it's just like, I don't know, it's just really, really sad. Even with other situations, just like when a man is the provider, it's not every man, of course. I'm not saying every man that is a provider does this, but it's just like, sometimes some of these women, they end up not having nothing when the guy's done with them, or letting him take care of everything and pay for everything. And then it's just like, I don't know, this situation was just really sad. And some people are trying to say, oh, Shira 7, and she was going by Shira 7's thing, and that's why it's just like, you can't completely blame Shira 7, of course, but it's just like, no matter who you listen to online or whose advice you take, you just gotta go with your own gut and stop thinking that everything that people say online has to be the end all be all or the truth, or just stuff like that. Like, I'm not following every single thing one person is saying online, or one person's dating advice, or you could take some stuff with a grain of salt, but everything is just like, no. And it's just like situations like this just needs to bring awareness to women, especially awareness to women with kids.
Trophy wife story is a constant reminder that the people closest to children will use that closeness to manipulate and take advantage of those children in ways that you probably could never have imagined. The true reality of all of this is there are some real sick people in this world. As far as I'm concerned, I would never, even prior to having a child, even consider taking advantage of a child because their innocence is something that's so precious. And I also understand that what happens to them right now impacts them in ways they'll never imagine. But for those sick individuals like that husband that decided to get super close to those little girls and then take advantage of them in the worst way, potentially scarring them for life, potentially negatively impacting the way that they show up in romantic relationships with men, women, anybody else, potentially even impacting how they have relationships with men in general that aren't even romantic, and potentially harming their possibilities of being someone that they can trust, the people that get close to them. The saddest part about this is that that lady knew that she had to come up with some entire plan to get those kids out of there because she trusted her first mind that it wasn't just one of them, probably. The second thing is, I am so glad that she actually believed the little girl. Never saying that she wasn't going to, but we all know that there are those stories. This exact thing happens. This man swarms in and he's like the save the day type of husband, gives them everything they could imagine, gives them a life that the mother never saw them having, and then he swarms in and takes advantage of the children. The children come clean, and the mama is like, what if? I don't care nothing about that. You got to be making that up because they're so caught up in the fairy tale that they're living. I'm so grateful that she didn't get caught up in that and that she did everything in her power to protect her children. I hope that this encourages and inspires each of you to do the same thing, because the truth of the matter is, it don't even have to be the man that comes to save you or the woman that comes to save you. It could be the man that you could have been in love with forever. Now, I'm not saying just walk around thinking that these people taking advantage of your children, but you have to be vigilant in how you choose to show up in your child's life and your awareness of what's normal, what's not normal. And I'm grateful for the fact that in a simple change, she realized, a simple diaper change or whatever she was changing, something off. Let me go get this fixed. Just please don't fall into the trap of thinking because this man pay your bills and afford you a lifestyle that you can negate the safety and happiness and peace of your children.
So I'll just say that it's good that we listen to some of these feminine coaches. There are 7 and all of them, but while listening to them, please don't get carried away, okay? Because men are men, and don't get married for the wrong reasons. Don't look at people on social media and say, oh, I want to be like this person, I want to live my life like this person. You take their advice and then you forget the important things. You don't vet your man properly. There are more important things to look out for when getting married to somebody or when dating somebody than money, than finance and all of those things. Most times men that are like this hide behind money, and then they use money to make you blind so that you don't see the other part of them. Because imagine a man doing this kind of thing to his own child or children. It's disappointing. It's disappointing. So even though this is a very tragic story, a very bad story, bad news, let's try not to judge, because the judgment on TikTok, oh my god, on social media, oh my god, the lady is already going through it. Like, she's already traumatized. Her children are already traumatized. So please, let's just calm down and learn from her story. There is more to a man than being a provider, than being cash cow or something. There's also more to being a woman than just sitting down somewhere being a trophy wife. This also teaches us that you can never be careful enough. Involve God. Choosing a partner, involve God. Raising your children, involve God. You can never be careful enough. So what do you guys think about this whole thing? I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comment section. My name is Benita. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe to my channel, leave a comment, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye for now.